Hi, and welcome to, I believe, the 25th edition of the nightly Newsfeed Wrap-Up. I'm your host, James Fargon, and I am doing a special broadcast tonight from the nightlife district around the subway station near my home. I'm going to upload a couple other supplemental videos. I hope you can hear me. Where you can see a mural around the police station close to here. It's pretty revealing. So tonight is going to be a special spotlight on North Korea. Now, you may think that North Korea is a backwater hellhole, starving nation of brainwashed retards. But I would say that more accurately describes America than North Korea at this juncture. Get on Google Earth and go swoop around the country like a Taoist immortal, zooming in on fantastic farms and villages where every single traditional house is surrounded by gardening. They're growing food like no tomorrow. Their children are amazing. Just get on YouTube and search North Korean children playing guitar. Their children are amazing, and they have resisted the Zionist globalist bullshit. They've kept it out of their culture, and they have preserved traditional Korean Joseon culture, and they've done a damn fine job of it, and they have a good society. I know this might sound strange to you, but bear with me. I'm about to read to you something that came out on their official news wire today. The Korean Central News Agency. I've got a banner here pissing me off. It's knocking my computer. This is amazing. I follow the Korean Central News Agency, even though I have to do it through a proxy server, because they censor it here in South Korea, which the North Koreans call South Joseon. And when they do refer to South Korea, they do not capitalize the word South. Yeah? Okay, so without further ado, I'm going to read this news article from the Korean Central News Agency of the DPRK. Korean Central News Agency accuses U.S. of human rights abuses. Pyongyang. And I should say calendar, May 23rd, 2012, Juche, which is their official ideology of self-reliance, not relying on globalist, motherfucking, Zionist Jew bankers, self-reliance. Juche 101. Korean Central News Agency accuses U.S. of human rights abuses. And get ready for this, folks. Pyongyang, May 23rd, KCNA. The KCNA Tuesday issued an indictment accusing the U.S. of its unethical human rights abuses. The indictment said, the political rights of the majority of the toiling masses are being wantonly violated by money and power in the U.S., styling itself heaven of liberty and democracy. An election in the U.S. can be described as a contest in wasting money. That's an aphorism. That's brilliant. Let me repeat it. An election in the U.S. can be described as a contest in wasting money. And that is a paragraph. The midterm election held in November 2010 was reported to be the most expensive election in the U.S. history, as $3.98 billion was squandered for it. The presidential election to be held this year is also expected to be a competition in money. I love them. U.S. President Obama, candidate from the Democratic Party, raised $45 million in February and $53 million in March. The fund for re-election of Obama is estimated to be $120.01 million. Freedom of speech, secrecy of correspondence, inviolability of human body, and other civic rights are openly violated under the pretense of national security in the U.S. The U.S. Senate adopted an act on protecting cyberspace as national property on June 24th, 2010. In February last year, BBC recalled that the U.S. frequently cried out for ensuring freedom of internet, labeling those countries taking measures to control internet closed society. It accused the U.S. of contemplating making a legitimate framework to control internet in its mainland. U.S. airports introduce full-body scanners for travelers under the pretext of security. The U.S. authorities' brutal suppression of participants in Occupy Wall Street demonstrations across the U.S. last year vividly showed the reality of the U.S. tundra of human rights. Nice turn there, North Koreans. Nice turn. The police authorities responsible for protecting rights of citizens of the U.S. are earning an ill fame as main culprits of violence and human rights abuses. Couldn't have said it better myself. Sorry. U.S. prisons have turned into medieval torture chambers and hells on earth. The rights to food, clothing, and housing, the most elementary human rights, are mercilessly suppressed in the American society where money is everything and the jungle law governs. According to a survey of the U.S. Census Bureau, the number of the people living under poverty line across the country reached 49.1 million as of the end of 2011. The number of homeless people who cannot afford to live in their own houses because of high housing rent reached 636,000 last year. It is said that more than 51,000 people sleep under the open sky every day in Los Angeles City, California, known as a city of homeless people. This is the North Korean press, folks. You want alternative media? I've got alternative media. And by the way, when is the last time you ever saw Laos in the mainstream media? That is a very nice society. And North Korea is very similar to it. The number of the unemployed in April this year stood at 12.5 million, owing to the ever-deepening economic crisis. Among them, 5.1 million people are the long-term unemployed. According to a report released by the U.S. Federal Bureau of Investigation on September 19, 2011, more than 1 million crimes of violence were committed in the U.S. in 2010. Equality for all, much touted by the U.S., is nothing but a deceptive slogan. And all forms of discrimination getting pronounced in the U.S. wantonly with each passing day mercilessly trample down upon the equality of people. Can you argue with this? Can you? The consequences of deeply rooted racial discrimination are vividly manifested in all fabrics of social life. Women and children in the U.S. are withering in the mire of social evils. This is fucking amazing. It's fucking amazing what these people produce. And you want to think they are a society of retarded assholes? Ceaseless violence against women fully betrays the fin de siècle tendency in the barbarous American society. Barbarous! I'm getting stares, but I don't care. The number of the poor children across the country is more than 15 million. The number of those children subject to violence every year is over 3 million, counting only those formally registered. How intelligent this is. The U.S. human rights abuses spilled over to different parts of the world, including Korea, imposing immeasurable misfortunes and sufferings upon other countries and nations. They know what they're talking about. God bless them. The U.S.-led anti-terror war that has lasted for more than a decade is unprecedented state-sponsored terrorism and hideous human rights abuse. This is clearly proved by the anti-terror war now engulfing Pakistan in the wake of Afghanistan and Iraq. This has become a war of genocide as it takes the lives of guiltless civilians. This is a beating human heart speaking from North Korea. The U.S. is maltreating and torturing prisoners after setting up secret prisons abroad. This is the wanton violation of the international laws on human rights and humanitarianism. I gotta check on my time. Okay, coming up on 12 minutes. The U.S. has cruelly trampled down upon the freedom of religion and faith of other nations. It ceaselessly resorts to the moves to bring down governments of other countries and terrorism against democratic figures of various countries. They constitute a wanton violation of national rights and human rights abuses. The U.S. organized more than 40 terrorist groups specializing in subversive acts and murder in a bid to stifle the Cuban Revolution and financially backed them. For more than a century, the U.S. hatched plots to overthrow governments of many countries, including Nicaragua, Philippines, Puerto Rico, Honduras, Guatemala, Chile, Grenada, Panama, Afghanistan, and Iraq to realize its ambition for domination. In the period from 1961 to 1976, it conducted at least 900 assassination and terror operations against world-famous politicians and foreign government officials. The U.S. is the worst rogue state in terms of human rights abuses, as it has perpetrated the most serious human rights abuses at home and abroad. This being a hard reality, the U.S. is apt to kick up human rights rackets in the international arena, and politicize human rights issues, build up public opinions over them, and internationalize those issues in a bid to use them as a lever for pressurizing other countries. This is like the guilty party filing the first suit, or like the pot calling the kettle black. It is none other, they say, than the U.S., which should be brought to the World Human Rights Court. Think about it, folks. And watch videos on North Korea. If I had my choice, I would live there. And I'd be away from all this Calvin Klein, Lady Gaga fucking bullshit that I hate. Okay, coming up on 14 and a half minutes. That took longer to read than I thought it would. That was a good screen. That was awfully truthful. And that came from the North Korean official news feed. Okay? So go check that country out on Google Earth, and they lie to us about every other fucking thing. Don't you think they're lying to us about them? My grandfather, who was murdered, probably for blowing the whistle on anthrax, flew roses and whiskey to that cocksucker MacArthur. I love you, Gramps. Rest in peace. I'm trying to do you proud. I'm over 15 minutes. This is the nightly newsfeed wrap-up for, I think, May 25th, 2012. Thank you for watching. Over and out.